What are some common mistakes people make when stopped by the police? Attorney Brian Sloan says, "It is never a good idea to lie to a police officer, whereas it would be a good idea for the person to invoke their constitutional right to remain silent and simply not answer the officer's questions. It tends to hurt people the most when the officer inevitably asks the very likely question of whether the person knew why they were pulled over. People often answer that question by admitting they were speeding or ran a red light, whereas they would have just admitted to a crime or at least a civil traffic violation. People do not realize it could end up hurting them if they told the officer they understood why they were stopped, because it would be very likely they would get a citation at that point no matter what. It often hurts people when they mention they know their license is suspended. As part of Arizona law, either for an aggravated DUI or for the charge of driving on a suspended license, the prosecutor would have to prove that the person knew or had reasons to know their license was suspended. It would make the prosecutor's case that much better if the officer asked someone and then that person freely admitted they knew their license was suspended. Another mistake that people commonly make is when they admit to having consumed alcohol. Probably the most damning thing would be when an officer asks someone to rate themselves on a scale from 0 to 10 or a scale of 1 to 10, with 0 or 1 being completely sober and 10 meaning falling down drunk, with regards to how they rated themselves at the time of driving. The answer to this question can be extremely damning because the prosecutor would only have to prove that the person was driving while impaired to even the slightest degree by the consumption of the alcohol. Someone who admitted to feeling impaired to even the slightest degree by the consumption of alcohol by rating themselves a number on the scale would basically be admitting to the biggest element that the prosecutor would be trying to prove in front of the jury, because it would make a lot easier for a jury to find someone guilty on the basis that the person rated themselves even slightly impaired on the scale, meaning the person had themselves admitted they were impaired to the slightest degree, which is why rating oneself on that scale would be the thing that would hurt the most. For a free phone consultation, contact attorney Brian Sloan in Phoenix, Arizona at 602-357-8980 or visit him on the web at www.arizDUI.com.